Los Caprichos. Plate 1. Francisco Goya y Lucientes. Plate 2. They say yes and give their hand to the first comer. The readiness with which many women are inclined to get married, hoping thereby to be able to live in greater liberty. Plate 3. Here comes the boogeyman. Lamentable abuse of early education, to cause a child to fear the boogeyman more than his father and so make it afraid of something that does not exist. Plate 4. Nanny's boy. Negligence, tolerance, and spoiling make children capricious, naughty, vain, greedy, lazy, and insufferable. They grow up and yet remain childish. Thus is Nanny's little boy. Plate 5. Two of a kind. It is often disputed whether men are worse than women or the contrary, but the vices of the one and the other come from bad upbringing. Wherever the men are depraved, the women are the same. The young lady portrayed in this print is as knowing as the young coxcomb talking to her, and as regards the two old women, one is as vile as the other. Plate 6. Nobody knows himself. The world is a masquerade. Face, dress, and voice, all are false. All wish to appear what they are not. All deceive and do not even know themselves. Plate 7. Even thus, he cannot make her out. How can he make her out? In order to know what she is, a monocle is not enough. Judgment and experience of the world are needed, and these are precisely what this poor gentleman is lacking. Plate 8. They carried her off. The woman who cannot take care of herself belongs to the first who seizes her, and when the mischief is done, people are surprised that she has been carried off. Plate 9. Tantalus. If he were a better lover and less of a bore, she would revive. Plate 10. Love and Death. See here a Calderonian lover who, unable to laugh at his rival, dies in the arms of his beloved and loses her by his daring. It is inadvisable to draw the sword too often. Plate 11. Lads making ready. Their faces and their clothes make it clear what they are. Plate 12. Out hunting for teeth. The teeth of a hanged man are very efficacious for sorceries. Without this ingredient, there is not much you can do. What a pity the common people should believe such nonsense. Plate 13. They are hot. They are in such hurry to gobble it down that they swallow it boiling hot. Even in pleasure, temperance and moderation are necessary. Plate 14. What a sacrifice. That's how things are. The fiancé is not very attractive, but he's rich, and at the cost of the freedom of an unhappy girl, the security of a hungry family is acquired. Plate 15. Pretty teachings. The advice is worthy of her who gives it. The worst of it is that the girl will follow it absolutely to the letter. Unhappy the man who gets anywhere near her. Plate 16. For heaven's sake, and it was her mother. The young woman left her home as a little girl. She did her apprenticeship at Cadiz. She came to Madrid. There she won the lottery. She goes down to the Prado and hears a grimy, decrepit old woman begging her for alms. She sends her away. The old woman persists. The fashionable young woman turns around and finds, who would have thought it, that the poor old woman is her mother. Plate 17. It is nicely stretched. Oh, the bawdy old woman is no fool. She knows quite well what is wanted and that the stockings must fit tightly. Plate 18. And his house is on fire. It will not occur to him to take off his breeches or to stop talking to the candle until the local fire brigade freshens him up. Plate 19. All will fall. And those who are about to fall will not take warning from the example of those who have fallen, but nothing can be done about it. All will fall. Plate 20. There they go plucked. If they have already been plucked, get them out. There will be others coming along. Plate 21. How they pluck her. Hens also encounter birds of prey to pluck them, and that is why the saying goes, "You'll get as good as you give." Plate 22. Poor little girls. They are going to mend these tattered women. Take them in, as they have been getting loose for long enough. Plate 23. Those specks of dust. For shame, to treat in this way an honorable woman who for a trifle served everyone so diligently, so usefully. For shame. Plate 24. Nothing could be done about it. They are persecuting this saintly woman to death. After having signed her death sentence, they take her out in triumph. She has indeed deserved a triumph, and if they do it to insult her, they are wasting time. No one can shame someone who has nothing to be ashamed of. Plate 25. Yes, he broke the pot. The son is mischievous and the mother bad-tempered. Which is worse? Plate 26. They've already got a seat. If conceited girls want to have a seat, there is nothing better than to put it on their head. Plate 27. Which of them is the more overcome? Neither one nor the other. He is a charlatan in love who says the same to all of them, and she is thinking of giving up 5 appointments which she had made between 8 and 9, and it's already 7:30. Plate 28. Hush. An excellent mother to trust with a confidential commission. Plate 29. That certainly is being able to read. They are combing his hair, they are putting on his shoes, he is sleeping and he is studying. No one shall say that he is not making the most of his time. Plate 30. Why hide them? The answer is easy. The reason he doesn't want to spend them, and does not spend, is because although he is over 80 and can't live another month, he still fears that he will live long enough to lack money. So mistaken are the calculations of avarice. Plate 31. She prays for her. And she does well to do so, that God may send her luck and keep her from harm and from surgeons and policemen, and make her as dexterous and wide awake and willing as her mother who is in heaven. Plate 32. Because she was susceptible. It had to happen. The world has its up and downs. The life she was leading could end in no other way. Plate 33. To the Count Palatine, or Count of the Palate. In all sciences, there are quacks who know everything without having studied a word and have a remedy for everything. You should not trust a word they say. The really wise man is always wary of making predictions. He promises little and accomplishes a lot, but the Count Palatine accomplishes nothing of what he promises. Plate 34. Sleep overcomes them. Don't wake them. Sleep is perhaps the only happiness of the wretched. Plate 35. She fleeces him. They shave him close and fleece him. It is his own fault for putting himself in the hands of such a barber. Plate 36. A bad night. Gadabout girls who don't want to stay at home risk exposing themselves to these hardships. Plate 37. Might not the pupil know more? One cannot say whether he knows more or less. What is certain is that the master is the most serious-looking person who could possibly be found. Plate 38. Bravo! If ears were all that were needed to appreciate it, No one could listen more intelligently, but it is to be feared that he is applauding what is soundless. Plate 39, and so was his grandfather. This poor animal has been driven mad by genealogists and heralds. He's not the only one. Plate 40, of what ill will he die? The doctor is excellent, pensive, considerate, calm, serious. What more can one ask for? Plate 41, neither more nor less. He is quite right to have his portrait painted. Thus those who do not know him and have not seen him will know who he is. Plate 42, thou who canst not. Who would not say that these two cavaliers are cavalry? Plate 43, the sleep of reason produces monsters. Imagination, abandoned by reason, produces impossible monsters. United with her, she is the mother of the arts and the source of their wonders. Plate 44, they spin finely. They spin finely, and the devil himself will not be able to undo the warp which they contrive. Plate 45, there is plenty to suck. Those who reach 80 suck little children. Those under 18 suck grown-ups. It seems that man is born and lives to have the substance sucked out of him. Plate 46, correction. Without correction and censure, one cannot get on in any faculty, and that of witchcraft needs uncommon talent, application, maturity, submission, and docility to the advice of the great witch who directs the seminary of Barahona. Plate 47, a gift for the master. That is quite right. They would be ungrateful pupils not to visit their professor to whom they owe everything they know in their diabolical science. Plate 48, tale-bearers, blasts of wind. The tale-bearing witches are the most irritating in all witchcraft and the least intelligent in that art. If they really knew something, they wouldn't blast it about. Plate 49, hobgoblins. Now, this is another kind of people. Happy, playful, obliging, a little greedy, fond of playing practical jokes, but they are very good-natured little men. Plate 50, the chinchillas. He who hears nothing, knows nothing, and does nothing belongs to the numerous family of the chinchillas, which have always been good for nothing. Plate 51, they spruce themselves up. This business of having long nails is so pernicious that it is forbidden even in witchcraft. Plate 52, what a tailor can do. How often can some ridiculous creature be suddenly transformed into a presumptuous coxcomb who is nothing but appears to be much? That is what can be done by the ability of a tailor and the stupidity of those who judge things by their appearance. Plate 53, what a golden beak. This looks a bit like an academic meeting. Perhaps the parrot is speaking about medicine. However, don't believe a word he says. There is many a doctor who has a golden beak when he is talking, but when he comes to prescriptions, he's a herald. He can ramble on about pains, but can't cure them. He makes fools of sick people and fills the cemeteries with skulls. Plate 54, the shamefaced one. There are men whose faces are the most indecent parts of their whole bodies, and it would be a good thing if those who have such unfortunate and ridiculous faces were to put them in their breeches. Plate 55, until death. She is quite right to make herself look pretty. It is her 75th birthday, and her little girlfriends are coming to see her. Plate 56, to rise and to fall. Fortune maltreats those who court her. Efforts to rise she rewards with hot air, and those who have risen she punishes by downfall. Plate 57, the filiation. Here is a question of fooling the fiancé by letting him see, through her pedigree, who were the parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and great-great-grandparents of the young lady. And who is she? He will find that out later. Plate 58. Swallow it, dog. He who lives amongst men will be irremediably vexed. If he wants to avoid it, he will have to go and live in the mountains, but when he is there, he will discover that to live alone is vexatious. Plate 59. And still they don't go. He who does not reflect on the inconstancy of fortune sleeps peacefully while surrounded by dangers. He does not know how to avoid the danger which threatens him, and there is no misfortune which does not surprise him. Plate 60. Trials. Little by little she is making progress. She is already making her first steps, and in time she will know as much as her teacher. Plate 61. They have flown. The group of witches which serves as pedestal for this fashionable lady is put there for ornament rather than for use. There are heads so full of inflammable gas that they need neither balloons nor witches to make them fly. Plate 62. Who would have thought it? See, here is a terrible quarrel as to which of the two is more of a witch. Who would have thought that the screechy one and the grisly one would tear each other's hair in this way? Friendship is the daughter of virtue. Villains may be accomplices, but not friends. Plate 63. Look how solemn they are. The print shows that these are two witches of means and position who have gone out to take a little exercise on horseback. Plate 64. Bon voyage. Where is this infernal company going, filling the air with noise in the darkness of night? If it were daytime, it would be quite a different matter, and gunshots would bring the whole group of them to the ground, but as it is night, no one can see them. Plate 65. Where is Mother going? Mother has dropsy, and they have sent her on an outing. God willing, she may recover. Plate 66. There it goes. There goes a witch, riding on the little crippled devil. This poor devil, of whom everyone makes fun, is not without his uses at times. Plate 67. Wait till you've been anointed. He has been sent out on an important errand, and wants to go off half anointed. Even among the witches, some are harebrained, impetuous, madcap, without a scrap of judgment. It's the same the world over. Plate 68. Pretty teacher. The broom is one of the most necessary implements for witches, for besides being great sweepers, as the stories tell, they may be able to change the broom into a fast mule and go with it where the devil cannot reach them. Plate 69. Blow. No doubt there was a great catch of children the previous night. The banquet which they are preparing will be a rich one. Bon appétit. Plate 70. Devout profession. Will you swear to obey and respect your masters and superiors, to sweep the garrets, to spin tow, to ring bells, to howl, to yell, to fly, to cook, to grease, to suck, to bake, to blow, to fry, everything, and whatever time you are ordered to? I swear. Well then, my girl, you are now a witch. Congratulations. Plate 71. When day breaks, we will be off. Even if you hadn't come, you wouldn't have been missed. Plate 72. You will not escape. She who wants to be caught never escapes. Plate 73. It is better to be lazy. If the more he works the less he likes it, he is quite right to say, it is better to be lazy. Plate 74. Don't scream, stupid. Poor Paquila. She was looking for the footman and runs into the goblin. But don't be afraid. It's plain that Martinico is in a good mood and won't do her any harm. Plate 75. Can't anyone untie us? A man and a woman tied together with ropes, struggling to get loose and crying out to be untied quickly. Either I'm mistaken, or there are two people who have been forced to marry. You understand? Well, as I say, look out. Otherwise, the cockade and baton make this stupid boor think he is a superior being, and he abuses the office entrusted to him to annoy everyone who knows him. He is proud, insolent, vain with all who are his inferiors, servile and abject with those who are his superiors. Plate 77. What one does to another. It is the way of the world. People jest and fight with one another. He who yesterday played the part of the bull, today plays the caballero in plaza. Fortune presides over the show and allots the parts according to the inconstancy of her caprices. Plate 78. Be quick, they are waking up. The goblins are the most industrious and obliging people there are. As the maid keeps them happy, they scour the pot, cook the vegetables, wash up, sweep, and hush the child. It has often been disputed whether they are devils or not. Don't let us deceive ourselves. Devils are those who spend their time doing harm or hindering others from doing good or doing nothing at all. Plate 79. No one has seen us. And what does it matter if the goblins go down to the cellar and have 4 swigs, if they have been working all night and have left the scullery like gleaming gold? Plate 80. It is time. Then, when dawn threatens, each one goes on his way, witches, hobgoblins, apparitions, and phantoms. It is a good thing that these creatures do not allow themselves to be seen except by night and when it is dark. Nobody has been able to find out where they shut themselves up and hide during the day. If anyone could catch a den full of goblins and were to show it in a cage at 10 o'clock in the morning in the Puerta del Sol, he would need no other inheritance. We'd like to thank our supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to become a patron, check us out on patreon.com/thecanvas.